Hey, as we know, life is full of surprises, both good and bad, and the day-to-day journey is full of unforeseen obstacles, and sometimes it's hard for us to see our way through. Beyond the normal mundane, where unscripted dreams live. Join us for thought-provoking discussions and interviews to help us navigate through the fog while we create our own path. We are the Unscripted Dreams podcast, operating outside the margins to motivate and inspire our audience. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm over here playing around with my mic. I don't know why my mic is acting all funny, but yeah, let's keep it rolling. Hopefully y'all can't hear that. So today's episode is literally about health. Health is wealth. That's the title of the episode. We're not going to bore you to death here. We're just going to get in and out as far as speaking on the level of importance of health and how much more important health is to your whole existence as a being. I want to say this, and I'm going to keep saying it throughout the episode. Your body is your most valuable asset. And I'm going to say it again. Your body is your most valuable asset. And the reason why it's your body's your most valuable asset is because your body is the vehicle through which you experience the world, and it deserves to be treated with respect and care. And make your health a priority and invest in it every day. Like I said, your body is your most valuable asset.
So, Jay, you start just pretty fired up. So I'm not gonna be able to keep that energy, but I'm just gonna transition, man. I'm just gonna transition and say that listen, nobody wants to be sick. All right, nobody wants to be sick. I know there's different layers to health as far as your physical health, but then some people like your mind, based on your physical condition, your mind is your greatest asset.
Yep.
Because some people just have conditions, man. But but I think that, well, for one, Joe, why do you think? I think that what I see is that there's not a lot of focus on health in society, like in our society. It's really not that much. Now, when I say that, I'm not blaming society, because once we know that something isn't being represented to our liking, then that's on us as individuals to take action in that direction. But Joe, why do you think there isn't a big enough focus on our health and we don't spend a lot of time?
I think a lot of it is pretty deep. I think first and foremost, when you think about like soul food, it's a cultural
Oh
thing,
man.
right? Soul food is some of the best tasting food I've ever had. I don't know if it's because my culture, I was born in it, but it seemed like everybody gravitates to soul food some way. It's either it's usually one or two dishes that I know everybody would fall for, or definitely break diets in a heartbeat if they can get their hands on some soul food dish, whether that's collard greens, macaroni and cheese from scratch, uh, fried chicken, uh, I don't know, sweet potatoes, not sweet potato, candy yams. Like I can go down the list, man. But what I'm trying to say is like a lot of that food is not good for you. Either it's got too much sugar in it, too much other like sodium in it, too much salt, too much pepper in it, or it may just have dairy in it, which we probably shouldn't be eating, period. A good portion of people, especially people of color, um, are lactose intolerant. So dairy's not something that we should ingest in our bodies. Look it up yourself. Corn is another one too. I don't eat corn, but I do eat corn. Unfortunately,
What?
corn syrup. So, when you think about candy and all that stuff, that's made from like corn syrup and all that kind of junk. So ideally, you're still like, your body can't digest corn. So what I'm trying to say is like, there's a lot of stuff in our culture as a whole, as Americans, that kind of keeps us behind the eight ball. And it's really unfortunate that these fast food places have got green lighted to have scientists work on what can taste good for people or what can be perceived as an addicting taste, or associate something like that along the lines of getting people to come back for more for your food. So there's a lot of like ingredients to save money and all that kind of stuff that ultimately is causing a lot of us, especially around our age in the 20s and early 30s to mid 30s, where we're catching cancer at a faster rate than the people that should be, well, nobody should be catching cancer, but it's expected of somebody that's twice our age of catching it. So we're being diagnosed, I'm sorry, with that ailment. So that all goes down to our diet. It's a cultural thing to eat certain type of foods. And we've been programmed to think that this is how things should taste and this should taste good. If we could reverse engineer the way we think or what we perceive as tasting good, then nobody would have these issues. But unfortunately, that's not the way our culture is set up.
It made me think of something before I get into my next point. I intentionally bought apple juice without sugar in it.
Love apple juice, but don't buy
You
it with
don't
the sugar.
you don't
Without the
need
sugar.
listen, you don't need to what I'm saying is you don't need to buy apple juice with sugar in it because it's already sweet enough as it is. It's already sweet enough as it is.
Look, I'm addicted to apple juice. That's my favorite type of juice to drink in this whole wide world. And if you get the natural flavor of apple juice, I feel sorry for you.
You don't need it. See, this is where definitely kind of contrast here, just because I had the apple juice and it doesn't have sugar in it. I was using it to make smoothies this week. It's
Oh,
sweet
okay.
enough. It's sweet enough already without the sugar. It's sweet enough. Just try it. Just try it. I'm gonna go read the label on what I've been drinking too, just to make sure. But the one thing I just want to go back to is that like healthcare and stuff. Like healthcare is pretty expensive. Like
It's the most
it's
expensive thing.
it's pretty expensive. And you think about like cost of living, like it's a cost of like living and maintaining your health. And like healthcare, I know someone mentioned this. They're saying like having like good healthcare and stuff is like a luxury just because of how expensive it is. Now, I'll make the argument that the healthy food is cheaper than the food that's processed because I can go to the store, I get a bag of carrots, like a cucumber or something like that for like pretty cheap. But then I go buy a McChicken for $1.29, right? But it's already prepared. You don't have to do all this other stuff for things like that. Or
$5 rotisserie chicken.
yeah, yeah. So I think so. But then like it's like the prep, like the preparation of getting the food ready and all that. Definitely comes into account too when people are just on the fly. But I think you can eat healthy, reasonably healthy at comparable costs. I think it's just time of like putting the food together and things like that from the raw ingredients. But I think that one thing that I've kind of noticed is that there's not a lot of like we spend money on a lot of things, but because I think just healthcare costs are so much, like I think it would be great to just like go to the doctor just to, you know like check on me and I'll make sure I'm good. Get my levels and everything tested. But most people are going to the doctors when like there's an issue. Like you just don't like a lot of people don't go just for like a checkup or things like that, just to make sure like things are going well. You're going when there's something is wrong. So it's not like yeah, there's preventative health, but there's not a lot of there's not like there needs to be like more preventative health. But that's on us at the individual level to take action. I'm not I'm not waiting for people. I'm not doing that.
La-
So
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, what Marcus is saying is prevention is better than finding a cure. And there's no way around it. If you can prevent these things from happening in your future, the better off you'll be.
and so there's a company. It's called Prenuvo. They do these full body scan MRIs. This thing costs at the high end 2,500 to get a full body scan. Now, if you're familiar with what a MRI does, I mean, it can identify like tumors, bone infections, joint issues, and things like that. But to get a full body scan is $2,500. I'm not sure if this is covered by insurance or anything like that, but I can tell you for a fact, once I got it in my budget, I'll be getting that scan annually. Easy. That's an easy expenditure. And the reason I say that is because when you think about it, if you can get a full body scan and they can catch something early and you can maintain your health, because a lot of people have, like, you think about somebody who has cancer, when they find out, most people when they find out they have it, it's progressed significantly. So if you set up a preventative healthcare for yourself and you actually had that in your budget, I think this company has like something on the low end too. You got to do your own research. on this stuff. But we're just putting information out there. But if you think about it, like, is that worth it? Because I'd rather pay 2,500, get a full body scan, and maybe catch us something, and then I could practice some preventative measures than just get really sick, go to the doctor, and be like, yeah, your stuff is like progressed pretty significantly, and now that treatment is exponentially more expensive than a preventative care. So I'd rather do that than, and that doesn't make you, like, anything can happen. Anything can happen to you health wise. But I think there's things that we can prevent. And I think it's just having an emphasis like on what's important, um, what's important in your lives. And I think priorities, like, just as I've gotten older, I don't feel as invincible as I used to. So like, I know that you have to, you just have to, it's important. It's important, but I'm not.
Your body is your most valuable asset.
Yeah. So just want to throw that out there. But anything else there, Joe? I got some. I
Let's
got some
talk
other stuff.
about yeah, let's talk about vices, man. Is that one of the next things you're gonna talk about?
Yeah, let's go into this. So I want to be clear. I want to be clear before I share all this information that that I ate a bag of Skittles yesterday. Matter of fact, I have it right here, the empty bag. I ate this bag of Skittles. I ate half of it yesterday. I ate the rest of it today. So I'm not a health expert, and I'm not on here trying to preach from the mountains because I have the same struggles that everybody else has. So, but part of it is just making the effort to do better. It's just making the effort, which I'm going to share now. All right. So, um, just kind of taking a look at, valuing what you can control and making small changes. So, I shared this with Joe, but I stopped drinking probably 2 months ago. I was like, I'm just going to not drink alcohol for a month, see what happens, maybe lose a couple pounds. So I did that. I felt pretty good. I lost some weight, right? But the goal was to just not drink for a month, just, for like to see, lose, lose some weight, just kind of see what happens. But then after that month, I started drinking again. And then I noticed the interesting thing about like going on and off for a month is that I was able to really notice some changes, like some changes in like my energy from going like off to like going back on. And this is like for me, like having a couple drinks a week or something like that. But I noticed, I said, well, why did I get more productive for a month and then get back on alcohol and become less productive for that month? So now I've decided to just come off of alcohol completely. And now I'm just kind of trying to like evaluate, like, why do I want to drink? Like, there's times when I want to drink, and it's like, well, why is it that I want it? And now I'm dealing with a whole different bag of issues that I have to solve for because now I'm trying to figure out what it is that, like, what am I trying to let go of, and why am I trying to have these drinks and things like that? So I think it's like one of those. I know people that drink like every day, but it's like there's a reason for it. So now I guess I'm just working on trying to identify the reason for it, and if it's actually something that I need to do or not. That's really where I'm at right now. So I think this is like week three of that for me.
Man,
But
I'm glad you brought that up. That reminds me, with you talking about the whole drinking thing. Um, I've done that with a few things. But I think the one that I really want to focus on is beef. I used to eat a lot of hamburgers. I used to eat a lot of ground beef, man. And I didn't know how much it was taking a toll on my body as far as breaking me down until I like stopped eating burgers for a whole year on purpose. And when I stopped eating burgers for a whole year, and then I ate a burger after that 1 year, man, it wasn't the idea that I got sick. I just got so tired. Like I ate the burger, it was worse than me drinking a whole night. Like it was almost like I drank a whole fifth to myself. Like I didn't realize how much effort it took my body to really process all that meat. So that let me really realize, like, that didn't make sense, but it made me realize that's not what I want. Um,
yeah,
chicken. I'm big on chicken, but I'm also knowing that with chicken, man, there's a lot of chemicals in chicken, and that could play a huge factor all the way up into your like psyche. Like it can impact you mentally. So you got to be careful about the kind of chicken you're eating and who you're getting it from. Uh, I know that it's hard to tell when you go into a restaurant where they get their chicken from. You don't know. But I'm telling you that they probably getting it for cheap and upselling it to you. So you do the math on that. So is it really worth your health? Is it really worth that? I don't think this is about you being scared. This is not about being a health scare, but it's about finding ways you can balance that out. So say that you do eat bad on the side where you're eating meat and you're consuming like poultry, beef, fish, whatever, right? Um, I hope you're balancing that out with vegetables. And if you're not balancing out with vegetables, I hope you have fruit. And fruit's another thing. You got to watch out for fruit too. Like, what kind of fruits are you ingesting? Are you ingesting? Are you digesting um, organic fruit or is it lab fruit? So, like, if you're eating grape, do your grapes have seeds in them or are they seedless? If you don't know the difference between a grape with seed in it and a grape that's seedless, I advise you to do your research. It'll tell you a lot about nutrients. Um, I really eat seedless grapes, but I still know what I'm eating, and I should probably be eating the ones with the seeds in them. But what I'm telling you is the more you know, the less you should be afraid because now you know that you have to either boss up or accept your fate. And that's literally what it comes down to. So if you're not afraid of finding out what's on that other side, which you shouldn't be, at least you know what you're getting into. So that way you can really monitor what you're eating. So like if you're eating healthy and you're eating salads and stuff like that, you know it's coming from a good source. I hope that you know that whatever meat you're gonna eat, say you're eating some salmon, I hope you know that that salmon that you're probably eating is not coming from a good place. Mind you, they do dye salmon a certain color so it looks attractive to the consumer. So do your research, man. Just make sure that you know what you're eating. And if you're gonna eat bad, as far as like one thing on your plate, make sure you balance it out with something else that is actually healthy. And if you're gonna eat bad on a continuous basis, that's on you. But everything in moderation. So we can even talk about this as far as drinking. I used to drink a lot. So now I barely drink. So it's really funny to me because I can't hang around the same people I used to hang around with a lot just because I already know what comes of that. And it's not the fact that I'm afraid of making bad choices. That was never like the issue for me as far as drinking. The issue is you just consume so much and you don't realize how much you've drank over a period of time, especially if you're day drinking with people and you've been drinking for a
Oof.
couple hours on end. That really can run you into the ground health wise. So, and you be looking old too. So that's probably why a lot of my friends that were heavy drinkers look like they're 10 years older than me, just because I feel like I stopped that binge drinking at the right time. Every once in a while, nothing's wrong with a bottle of wine, you know, nothing's wrong with taking a few shots here and there. But if this is a weekly thing, um, I'm concerned about your health.
So, Joe, you out here giving armchair nutritionist tips. I want it to be clear what Joe says and what I say in this episode are two different. We do two different things. All right, but so
Your
I
body's
just
your
want to
most valuable asset.
so so I want to say I want to share the things that I'm doing from the ground level. The ground level. I want to talk about small wins for regular people. And but no, so this is what like I've been doing because I know like people got we still have a lot going on. So I start making these small decisions. Like last week, I made a decision. I said, if I drink coffee, I'm not putting sugar in it anymore. No more sugar in the coffee. It's over. It's done. That's one decision. That's one decision. So then my next decision was well, I need to start working out again. So I made a decision that hey, I'm gonna do 30 minutes of exercise a day. I got an app that I download. I do my 30 minutes and that's it. Minimum. Minimum each day. I'm doing something. Even if I stretch for 30 minutes, which is, pretty easy, right? But so worst case, so now I have two things, right? No sugar in my coffee. I'm exercising at least 30 minutes a day. Put that on top of not drinking. I did eat that bag of Skittles, so I'm not acting like I don't have other things that are issues. But maybe next week I say, well, maybe I'll go a week without eating candy, and then maybe that could build on something. But what I'm trying to get at is that these small decisions add up, And it's like, well, before I was putting sugar in my coffee, I was drinking. Two, I wasn't exercising. So now, even though I ate that bag of Skittles yesterday, the cumulative decisions I made over that day were greater than the negative. So what I'm trying to get across here is it doesn't have to be this huge, like, overall. If you want it to be, it can be, but there's things you can do day to day. Add one thing a week or two, maybe at a month's rate. And then those decisions will accumulate over time, and you'll see, like, some of the results. Like, I looked at some stuff about drinking alcohol. It said it stays in your system for a lot longer than I thought it did. It's like, well, what happens when I don't have a drink for 2, 3 months? Like, will I perform at a higher level? Will I be like tapped into some other stuff at a in a mental capacity? Will I produce at a level I've never produced at before? Like, I like to see what's possible. Like, can I get in the best shape that I've ever been in if I'm able to maintain consistency? And then can I build, like, the stuff that Joe was saying, like, that's take a lot of research. Like, I'm not looking at grapes, looking at the seeds and all that stuff. Like, I don't have time for that. But maybe in a month, I will have time for that. So yes, the information Joe provided is valuable, but I think, like, sometimes we can kind of feel overwhelmed because you think it's an overhaul. Like, you got to make this complete overhaul. Like, the only thing I did last week was decide to stop putting sugar in my coffee. That's
Look,
it.
look, man, he is totally right. Like, we're not trying to scare you to death, and I'm just letting you know the depths of it. Like, I started out just like that, right? And he's far along. Don't let Marcus fool you. Like, he's far along with not staying away certain things health wise too, but he's just trying to be nice about it. So I guess we playing good cop, bad cop today. So, so pretty much, man, he's right. You know, I learned all this stuff on my own. Um, I really didn't learn much about what I was ingesting or eating, or I didn't even think about health until I was in my 20s. If I knew what I knew in my teens, I'd probably be looking like Lorenz Tate. You know how Lorenz Tate is like 50 plus and he looked like he going on 21? Yeah, like I would be probably looking like that just because it wasn't preached to me the value of your body being your number one asset. Your body is your most valuable asset. So, I mean that everything I say there. Like, if I can give anybody advice that's younger than me, and in my, I'm in my early 30s, watch what you do. Do you really need to drink and fill up and get drunk and belligerent? What for? You know what I'm saying? Nothing comes of that, but um, strained resources. Low on money. You probably messing up your whole day. So say if you're drinking and you got the next day you got to work, that's not smart. So just think about what you're doing, man. You don't have to live in the fast lane just because other people don't have their heads um, in the right areas. Their mind's not right. So just take my word of advice as far as it's okay to miss out on certain things. I promise you they won't miss you. If anything, you're playing the long game and, you're gonna be like, damn, y'all look real rough. So if you choose not to drink as much as your friends, you will notice a significant difference in health within the next decade, probably within the next 5 years. If you hung around people I hung around, you know, you'd be like, dang, man, what happened? But, you can't say that, that's your people's, but all you can do is be like, "You okay? You all right?" Like, so I'm not helping anything. I'm not helping at all. But what I'm trying to say is, man, I started out like that where, like I started small. Like I was like, man, I can't eat McDonald's no more, even though I got a lot of love for their fries. I used to get a large order of their fries and get like a shake. I want to say it was like a banana shake or vanilla shake. I can't quite remember. It's been that long. I stopped eating McDonald's in the year of 2012. So you can do the math on that. And I don't miss it. I still can taste every French fry. I could taste every burger. I could taste all of that. You don't miss out on that stuff, as time goes on. So you're doing yourself a service by knowing if what you're eating is poison to kind of like back up from it. Um, Also with supplements, man, be careful with your supplements. A lot of people like to take all these supplements and think that, it's really doing something for you. And it's can be detrimental to your internal organs just because you might be getting too much nutrients. Because there is such a thing where you're getting too much nutrients to your body and your body might not need all of that. And ultimately, you're poisoning your body even more. So think about that. So, like when I have like multivitamins and stuff like that, they say take them every day. I don't take mine every day. I take mine probably when I think of it. So that's probably like every other day or every few days. So I'm not trying to like overwork my organs at all. I've had friends where I've actually like worked out with. They took a lot of multivitamins, a lot of supplements, like creatine, and now they struggle with kidney issues just because they went too hard on the supplements. So just watch what you do with that too, man. And um, everything in moderation, man. Don't overdo it. So if you got some omega 3s, you got some vitamin D, I say if you got vitamin D and you post it up in the winter like I am in Michigan, take that every other day. You don't have to take that every day, man. You gotta give your body some time to process that, man. Everybody's body doesn't process things the same way. You guys have different genetics and all that kind of stuff for a reason. So take that into consideration. And the last thing before I go, water. Make sure you hydrate. Before you do anything, hydrate, water. So I know a lot of people use pop and think that that's water. No, it's not. Don't do that. I grew up from the age of since I was pretty much a 2-year old toddler, and then all the way up until like I was probably in high school. I would drink pop, I drink juice, and I would think that was doing something for me, and that was a substitute for water. No, it's not. Once I really got winged off of that and actually learned that I should be drinking water, my level of thinking changed. The way I move, it interacts to change. It was almost like, damn, like I was, I was living half dead all those years. So yeah, man, make sure you drink your water. I think that's very important, but also don't overdo water. I know people that overdo water too. And overdoing water, like overhydrating, really can be counterproductive too. There's very tall tale signs for knowing if you're overhydrated, but just know that do everything in moderation and your body is your most valuable asset. All right. Take care. Later.
Yep, so